Vandeham Shri Guru Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsam.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to yet another interesting episode of Pariprashna. So today happens to be the 39th episode where we intend to discuss chapter number 5 of Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So a quick recap so you know where we are and what's happened in the past. So in the last two episodes, we have discussed the first four chapters of Canto 3. So if you haven't already watched it, it's available in the playlist. The playlist link is down there in the description. So you can click and first watch that and then come here. So what has happened is we saw that Vidura was checked out of the palace of Hastinapura because of the piercing, insulting words of Duryodhana. So he takes it as a blessing of the Lord. He goes on a pilgrimage, and as he is moving from one place to another, when he reaches the bank of Yamuna, he meets an exalted devotee of Lord Krishna, that is Uddhava. And when Vidura inquires from Uddhava about Krishna, about the Kuru dynasty, about the Yadu dynasty, Uddhava goes into ecstasy, and out of his ecstatic remembrance, he narrates the various pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan, and then in Mathura, and then in Dwaraka, and finally he also talks about the disappearance, the Maushala Leela of Krishna. And then also Uddhava, when he told Vidura that Krishna left so many wonderful instructions about transcendence, Vidura, out of his natural humility, he wants Uddhava to be his spiritual master and teach him. But however, we saw that Uddhava does not want to, do Maryada Vyatikrama. So he instead directs Vidura to another great devotee, that is Maitreya Rishi. So in this chapter, we see the meeting of Vidura and Maitreya Rishi on the bank of the Ganges, that is in Haridwar. And now they are going to engage in Vidura Maitreya conversation, and that is where we are going to begin. So without further ado, let us go ahead and continue to inquire and learn from His Holiness Bhakti Padma Saurabha Pracharak Swami Maharaj. So Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams, Jai Srila Prabhupada. So Maharaj, this chapter starts off with this beautiful shloka of the meeting of Vidura and Maitreya. So I'll just quote the verse here. Shri Shuka Uvacha Dwaridyunadya Rishabha Korona Maitreya Masina Magada Bodham Kshattopasritya Chutabhava Siddhaha Papracha Saushilya Gunabhitriptaha. The translation. Sukadeva Goswami said, Vidura, the best amongst the Kuru dynasty, who was perfect in devotional service to the Lord, thus reached the source of the celestial Ganges river Haridwar, where Maitreya, the great, fathomless, learned sage of the world, was seated. Vidura, who was perfect in gentleness and satisfied in transcendence, inquired from him. So Maharaj, the discussion of Krishna Katha itself is auspicious, but however, we see time and again that the setting where the Krishna Katha is discussed is usually in the forest, like in Naimisharanya between Sutta Goswami and Shaunakadi rishis, or it is usually on the bank of certain river, like bank of the Ganges or bank of Yamuna, bank of Saraswati. Is there a certain significance why they choose such places for the discussion of the pastimes of Krishna?
Definitely, the place matters a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to progress in a particular field, you have to choose a place which is favorable for it.
Okay.
Number two, you have to choose the people whom associated who are favorable for it. Anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam. So Haridwar is a very auspicious place. And that is where this Vidura Maitreya Samvad took place.
Okay.
So Haridwar is known as Haridwar for two reasons, because it is Dwara. Dwara means the gateway or the gate, doors towards Hari, that is Badrinath. And Haridwar is also called Haradwar, Hara means Lord Shiva. That's
Okay.
also gateway to Lord Shiva. That is Kedarnath.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that is where Ganga enters the plains. And a lot of historical, not just historical, Puranic pastimes have happened there.
Mm-hmm.
So many rishis have done tapasya. Markandeya did tapasya there. And it's known as Kushavarta Kshetra. And so many different significances, Puranic pastimes happened.
Okay.
So the potency of the sages who did tapasya there, the potency is there. And the potency is quite favorable for discussion.
Mm.
That is why the bank of a river, the banyan tree, and any kshetra where some pastimes have happened, that becomes very auspicious for and favorable for Krishna Katha. That is why they chose this Ganga Dwar, bank of river Ganga at Haridwar. Who was the Uddhava, Vidura, he went to Maitreya, who's sitting on the bank of river Ganga in Haridwar.
Okay, very nice. So Maharaj, in this sloka, Vidura is called Achyuta Bhava Siddhaha. He was perfect in devotional service to the Lord. So somebody who is already perfect in devotional service to the Lord, he's quite exalted. He already is well situated in understanding of Krishna Katha. Well, but in spite of that, we see already he inquired from Uddhava, and now he's approached Maitreya to inquire. What is this unsatiating nature of hearing Krishna Katha that even a perfect devotee like Vidura is going and inquiring from Maitreya Rishi?
So actually only perfect devotees who are perfect, they inquire.
Mm.
Those who are not perfect, they don't inquire.
Okay.
And the perfection of life is to inquire about Krishna in both sense.
Mm-hmm.
Since if you're not a siddha, that means you're just an ordinary living entity. But the perfection of your human life is to inquire from the absolute truth. That is why the Vedanta Sutra says, Athatu Brahma Jigyasa. The perfection of human life is to inquire. So when you inquire, then you come to know Krishna as Supreme Lord and are supposed to do devotional service and hear and chant the names of Krishna. Mm-hmm. So when you go on doing that, then you attain perfection in that. So when you attain perfection, you inquire, not to know, but to relish. Mm. So there are two levels of inquiry here. First is you come to inquire to find out, to know, because you don't know and you like to know.
So you know the speciality then of Krishna Katha. Then what happens?
Then what happens when you know the speciality of Krishna Katha, when you start tasting Krishna Katha, so then you relish, you inquire to relish about Krishna. So this has been discussed in the previous sessions also while talking about Parikshit Maharaj. Mm-hmm. Parikshit Maharaj inquired as if he doesn't know, but Sukadeva Goswami says that, "O Parikshit, that you know, Shrinvan api katam muhuhu." Shrinvan means you have heard. Katam, muhuhu, not one time, two times, many times you have heard. But still you inquired as if you want to hear it for the first time or hearing it for the first time. Mm. That means you are finding the newness in the same old thing. That is called taste. Mm. So since your taste for Krishna Katha, you are Bhagavatottama. You are the topmost of the Bhagavatas because you want to hear about Krishna. Okay. So here also, Vidura, he knew. It is not that he doesn't know. That is why he is known as Achyuta Bhava Siddha. Mm-hmm. When more bhava you are, you want to inquire more about the person whom you have bhava about.
Mm. Fantastic. So now we see Vidura is starting to speak. Vidura uvacha sukaya karmani karoti loko natai sukam vanyadupa uparamamba vindeta bhuyastata eva dukkam yadatra yuktam bhagavan vadenaha. Vidura said, "O great sage, everyone in this world engages in fruitive activities to attain happiness, but one finds neither satiation nor the mitigation of distress. On the contrary, one is only aggravated by such activities. Please, therefore, give us directions on how one should live for real happiness. So, Maharaj, this is $1 million question. Everybody wants to attain happiness, but nobody is succeeding. But we will get to this in a minute. But however, so going back to the 19th verse of the previous chapter, I'll just quote that, which is spoken by Uddhava. It, it, Iti aveditahardaya mahyam sa bhagavan paraha adideshara vindaksha atmanah paramam sthitim. When I thus expressed my heartfelt desires unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the lotus-eyed Lord instructed me about his transcendental situation. So here Uddhava said that Krishna has already instructed him about Paramam Sthitim, the ultimate. So Vidura knows that. But however, now when Vidura is inquiring from Maitreya, he is not starting at that level about Paramam Sthitim. Rather, he is asking about question that is relevant for common men. Like Prabhupada is also pointing this out in the purport. Vidura asked Maitreya some common questions which was not originally his intention. Uddhava asked Vidura to approach Maitreya Muni and inquire into all the truths concerning the Lord, his name, fame, quality, form, pastimes, entourage, etc. And thus, when Vidura approached Maitreya, he should have asked only about the Lord. But out of natural humility, he did not immediately ask about the Lord, but inquired into a subject which would be of great importance to the common man. So, if you can enlighten us a little bit about this subtle sensitivity displayed, whether it is by Vidura or Maharaj Parikshit, they are not just concerned about themselves, they are concerned about the general welfare of people. So, if you can say something about this, Maharaj.
So it is the humility which actually is the byproduct or the substratum of prema.
Mm-hmm.
So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a great devotee of the Lord, we know in our line, great Acharya, he says that Amar Jivan Sada Pape Ratu Nahi ko Punya Ralesh. So my whole life is full of sinful activities and I have not done a single pious activity. So these words are actually expression of one's humility, and the humility is a natural outcome of prema, and prema is a natural outcome of humility. So these two things go along with each other. A person who has prema, he thinks I don't have it. He feels that I don't have anything. I don't have anything. I've not done much. That is the nature of love. Even a mother, she always feels, in spite of practically giving her life to the child, she thinks that I have not done enough for my child. So in the same way, the natural outcome of love is that I have not done enough. So that is natural outcome of humility, prema. So here we have Uddhava and instructing Vidura, go to Maitreya. So now Vidura, he is far advanced than Maitreya, but he still expresses his humility by asking these questions. Sanatana Goswami also did the same thing. Sanatana Goswami belongs to a great family. He is a learned person. He actually by heart all the 18,000 verses of Bhagavatam are by heart to Sanatana Goswami.
Wow.
But when he went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what was his question? Who am I? Kem najar tapatray? Why am I suffering from the three modes of nature or three kinds of miseries? Kem najay tapatray? Yehanai jani, if I don't know, kem ne heta hai? How am I going to be benefited? যদি তোমার মোর উদ্ধারিলো, if you have delivered me, then please instruct me on what is my kartavya. So Sanatana Goswami was not knowing who was he. I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul, Krishna's servant of Krishna. And was he not knowing that why we are experiencing, why the conditions are experiencing miseries? He knows. But still he asks. So that is sambandha. Now by asking these questions, the whole world is benefited. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana, you know the answers to all these questions, but still you are asking because it is the nature of the sadhu to ask. When a sadhu asks such questions, the whole world is benefited. So here also the same thing here. Out of great humility, here Vidura is asking questions which is actually pertaining to the conditioned living entity who is suffering in this world. He says, what is the reason for the suffering? In spite of their suffering, neither virakti comes nor asakti. There can be asakta. You cannot attach with suffering. At the same time, you cannot give suffering. That is a very awkward condition in which everybody is. And you know everything. Bhavan Vedam, Bhagavan Vedan, Vaden Naha. You know everything, that is why you speak to me. Please tell. The first thing which I have asked is about the conditioned souls.
Very nice, Maharaj. So in your recent talk that you were giving in a reputed college in Mumbai, you were saying Prabhupada is the most ambitious because he sold that which was unwanted by anybody, and that is spirituality. But now here Vidura is pointing to something that everybody wants, that is happiness, but nobody is getting it. So if you can say a little bit about this, where are people going wrong in their search for happiness? That's my number one question. And the second thing is, here Vidura is asking real happiness. So real happiness, then there must be something unreal happiness or fake happiness. So if you can contrast those two also.
Unreal happiness means suffering.
Okay.
That's what it is. Now, when I talk about ambition, Srila Prabhupada gave Krishna consciousness, and people don't want. That is a problem. Like a child is suffering, and the doctor gives medicine, but the medicine is bitter. Child says, "I don't want." So that is the problem. So they're confused. They want to get rid of suffering, but they don't want the method by which you can get out of suffering. And they want a method by which they can get out of suffering according to their understanding. So that is where people are erring. The method of getting out of suffering is already given by our acharyas in the scriptures. And any other process which is you like, the process cannot be according to what you like. The process is only according to what is the thing which is going to get rid of your suffering. Like you go to the doctor and you cannot take the medicine according to your liking. Because I like this medicine, I would like to take that. You cannot. You may like some ice cream, you may like whatever you can eat food according to your liking, no problem. But medicine, you cannot. So if you are diseased and sick, then the only thing is you have to accept the process which has been designated. If you try to find your own ways and means, it is going to increase your suffering. Like if you want to select your own medicine according to your liking, then your disease will increase. So in that way, everybody has a desire to become happy. And when it comes to accepting the process by which they can become really happy, really blissful, then they say, I don't want this. And also, in a simple term, if I have to say, why people are suffering in spite of they wanting to become happy is that they are searching for that happiness in the wrong place. And why they are searching for happiness in the wrong place? Because they are attached. And what they are attached to? Attached to suffering. This is the reality. I'll give you a small example how people are attached to suffering.
Okay.
It's a very gross example. It may be very hilarious also, but still something to get. Now one man comes and it's actually happened. One man came and told me I'm suffering, and they told what is the cause? Please tell me. I say my wife, she's just troubling me like anything. Whatever I do, she's not happy with. She wants another house. She wants that. I did my best. I'm now frustrated. She shouts at me, yells at me, always compares me with other men, and I'm totally frustrated and disgusted. Then I told, okay, do you really want to suffer? Do you want to get disgusted and want to live such a life? That is, no, I don't want. I want to be happy. I want to be peaceful.
Mm.
And I told, who is giving all the problems, all the disgust, all the suffering to you? He says, my wife is giving. So just give up.
Mm.
Then I told, "No, how can I do that? How can I do that?" So on one side, he says she is giving suffering, and he says, I don't want suffering. And you have to give up the thing which is going to give you suffering. So give up. How can I do that? I told, you only told, no, I don't want suffering. And you told your wife is a personification of suffering. Nobody, oh, hota rehta hai. Sometimes khatta mita chalta rehta hai. Fine. So ultimately, what does he want to tell me? He cannot give up someone means who is giving, he cannot give up suffering. So it may be a very gross example, but it gives a great lesson that actually we are attached to suffering. We are not attached to anybody in this world.
Nice.
That is foolishness. That is ignorance.
Okay. Nicely explained, Maharaj. So, Maharaj, in the next few verses, we see that Vidura Mahatma is glorifying Maitreya Rishi, and later we will see that Maitreya Rishi is also reciprocating that gesture and he is also appreciating Vidura. So, it's not unusual at all that whether it is Vidura Maitreya or Sukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit or Suta Goswami and Shaunakadi Rishis, there is naturally a mutual appreciation between the speaker and the hearer. There is nothing unnatural about this, isn't it?
Actually, the speaker becomes more happy when he finds a sincere inquirer and one who wants to hear. Because he feels that I got an opportunity to speak about Krishna, which is most purifying. Person who hears definitely gets purified. Somebody who inquires, he gets more purified. And somebody speaks about Krishna, he gets more purified. And who is getting the maximum opportunity to get purified? It is the speaker. So he becomes very happy about it. He thanks, he feels indebted. Actually, every speaker should feel indebted to the audience who are sitting in front of him. Not that I am delivering them. Actually, they are delivering you. If they would not been there, you would not got opportunity to speak. So it is because of them you are actually getting the opportunity to speak about Krishna, which is most purifying. It is because of them you are getting the opportunity to get purified more than them. So you should be indebted to them, very grateful to them.
Okay. So Maharaj, correct me if I'm wrong, from shlokas 5 to 9, so basically Vidura Mahatma is now asking 5 specific questions. I'll just list them and you can please correct me if I'm going wrong somewhere. So the first question, that is in 5th shloka, he's asking about the Purusha Avataras. Then he asks about Virat Rupa. And then he is asking about the Leela Avataras, the various transcendental pastimes of the Lord. And then he is also asking to describe the living conditions in various planetary systems. And finally, he also wants to know about the varieties of living beings. Is this right? These are the questions.
Perfect.
Okay. So now also in the next section, that is from verses 10 to 16 for our audience to keep up with what we are discussing. So here, Mahatma Vidura is requesting again and again how he is exclusively interested in hearing only Krishna Katha. So he also talks about how he's heard from his own father, Vyasa Maharshi, but however, there was politics, there was sociology, there were so many other things. But now he's telling that I'm interested only and only in Krishna Katha. So please talk to me about Krishna Katha. So what is the need for Vidura to again and again emphasize this point?
Because the Puranas, they speak about Krishna, definitely, and also speak about many other subject matters, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. But here, Vidura is asking Maitreya to speak specifically the Bhagavatam, which he had heard from the Sampradaya, which is coming from the Shaunaka Rishis. That is Ananta speaking to Shaunaka, Ananta Sesha speaking to Shaunaka Rishis. And then they speaking to Sankhyayana, and then he's speaking to other Rishis and Rasa and Vidura. The Bhagavatam has its uniqueness. What is the uniqueness of Bhagavatam from other Puranas? The uniqueness is other Puranas talk about Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. more than Bhakti and Krishna.
Okay.
They also speak about Bhakti and Krishna. They also glorify Bhakti. They also glorify Krishna. But at the same time, they give more importance to Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. That is why Srimad Bhagavatam is called Amala Puran. Amala Puran means where there is no Mala. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam. Because Dharma Projita, because the Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha has been completely uprooted and thrown off from the Bhagavatam. So, whatever questions I have asked, please explain that to me in connection with Krishna. In connection with Krishna. So, not just talk about creation, talk about something as it is spoken in the Mahabharata. So, even if you speak about the other subject matters, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, or any other subject matter, then it should be in connection with Krishna. Tesham rite Krishna kata mritau gata mritau ghata means if something which is not anukula for developing love for Krishna, to the sweetness, the pastimes of Krishna, then I don't want to hear them. So even if you see the questions of the sages of Naimisharanya, when they asked about the Gunavatars, they asked about Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, which are known as Kala. We want to hear about Krishna from whom these Kala avatars come. We don't want to hear about Kala avatars. We want to hear about that Krishna from whom the Kala avatars come.
Okay.
We want to hear about that Krishna whom all the Lila avatars come. The subject matter is Krishna. That is the essential teaching of the Bhagavatam.
So quoting the 14th verse here, Tanchocya shocyan avido nushoche hare kathayam vimukan aghenam kshinoti devo nimishastu yesham ayurvrutavada gati smritinam. O sage, persons who because of their sinful activities are averse to the topics of transcendence and thus ignorant of the purpose of the Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, are pitied by the pitiable. I also pity them because I see how their duration of life is spoiled by eternal time while they involve themselves in presentations of philosophical speculation, theoretical ultimate goals of life, and different modes of ritual. So Maharaj, although Krishna Katha is so glorious, in fact it is the most glorious, however, here Vidura Mahatma is pointing out persons who because of their sinful activities are averse to the topics of transcendence and thus ignorant of the purpose of the Mahabharata, that is Bhagavad Gita, are pitied by the pitiable. So how can we somehow entice, engage even these people with sinful reactions, even for them to get a ruchi, get a taste in Krishna Katha?
When you have taste, you can give it.
Okay.
Whatever you have, you can give. So the moment you have taste for Krishna and then speak about Krishna, those who are also having a sinful nature, they also get the taste. In front of the taste, all the sinful tendencies becomes insignificant for them. So when Srila Prabhupada went to America, whom did he find? He found those people who were sinful actually. But because Srila Prabhupada had the taste, what he could do is he could give the taste. So there are some people who don't have faith in Krishna Katha. And there are some people who are offenders of Krishna Katha. So those who have faith, they hear sincerely. And those who don't have faith, that is also fine because they somehow get faith by association of devotees. But we should be very careful about those who are against, envious. And for such person who are envious, then there is no way that they can attain any faith in Krishna Katha. Yeah.
Okay. So Maharaj, now we'll jump to shloka. We'll start from verses 22 and forward, where Maitreya Rishi is going to talk about Sarga, the primary creation. So Maharaj, now Sarga, the primary creation, secondary creation, we've already touched upon this, especially in Canto 2, Chapter 5. We went a little deeper into Sarga. So in Bhagavatam, the composer of Bhagavatam, that is Vyasa Maharshi, is there a specific reason why he tends to repeat certain things? For example, the Sarga, Visarga repeats, even Virat Rupa, about 5 times it comes, 3 times in Canto 2, again now in the next chapter, 6th chapter, again Virat Rupa is going to come. Why are certain topics repeated over and again?
Though they are repeated, they are spoken in different ways, in different angles.
Okay.
That is the speciality of Bhagavatam. Even if you see the prayers, all the prayers starts with the same thing. Namasye Purusham Twadhyamishwaram Prakrite Param. Here you are Purusha, you are Adi Ishvara, and you are transcend the modes of nature. Maya is under control, you are beyond Maya. Practically every prayer contains the same thing. But at the same time, when the same thing is spoken by different people in Bhagavatam or different devotees, they have a different taste. Like even in ordinary dealings, an expert cook, mother, when she feeds the child, it may be sambar every day, but the sambar will be having some slight different taste, depending on her mood, isn't it? Sometimes she put more masala, one day less masala. Sometimes you put some extra chili into it, or sometimes it is not no chili at all. Sometimes less salt, sometimes more salt. So that there is a variation, like you have one color, but there are many shades. So even though it is the same, it is one color called creation.
Okay.
But when they are spoken by different devotees, it's spoken in different shades because their power is different. So that identifying the the difference in the bhava spoken by different devotees about the same subject matter, that is called rasa.
Okay.
So whole scriptures talks only about Krishna. There's only one subject, that is Krishna. But you can see everything is spoken in a different way. For example, to give you a very now Paramatma, Krishna is addressed as Paramatma. So one yogi addresses Krishna as Paramatma, gopis also address Krishna as Paramatma. So you may say, oh, both are describing the same person. But when the yogi addresses Krishna as Paramatma, he addresses as Krishna in his heart, in the form of Kshirodaksha Vishnu, who is Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharata, Bhokta, Maheshwara. Now, when the gopis, is the yogi, gopi, and the gopis say, Krishna, Tvameva Paramatmanam Jara Buddhyata Sangata. So you are Paramatma. What do they mean? They mean that you are our lover. Parama Atma. Atma means lover. Atma means soul. That means when you love somebody, you consider that person yourself as your Atma. That means you can give up your life for that person. So he becomes your life. What gives life is Atma. So Atma has many meanings. One of the meanings is love.
Okay.
You are my lover. You are my love. What kind of? Parama. Para means beyond. Ma means no. You are my lover, and nobody is my lover beyond you. So you are the greatest. You are the topmost lover. So now just see the same word when it's spoken by two different people, it has got two different meanings. Right? So to identify the distinction in the same subject matter, when it is spoken at different places, in different contexts by different devotees, that is called rasa.
Okay.
That is how you extract rasa from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is not the same, it is similar. It seems to be the same. Why it is similar? What is the distinction? The distinction is in the bhava of the devotee, in the context in which it is spoken. Like Krishna showed Brahmanda to Yashoda. He showed it to the universal form was shown by Krishna to Yashoda, and universal form was shown by Krishna to Arjuna, And he showed the universal form to Markandeya. He showed the universal form to Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra. So the reactions are different.
Yeah. Very profound, Maharaj. Very interesting. So text number 22. Atate bhagavallila yogamayoro brimhitaha vishwastityudbhavanartartam varnayamyano purvashah. I shall therefore describe to you the pastimes by which the personality of Godhead extends his transcendental potency for the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic world as they occur one after another. So, Maharaj, now Maitreya Muni is starting this discussion. So, there is Krishna, who is the supreme personality of Godhead, and the first expansion of Krishna is Balarama. And Balarama comes the first Chatuvyuha expansion, that is Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Sankarshana. From the first Sankarshana comes Narayana. From Narayana comes the second Chatuvyuha, again Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Sankarshana. From the second Sankarshana comes Karanodakshai Vishnu, who is also called Mahavishnu. So now take us from here, Maharaj. So there is Mahavishnu, who is starting the whole thing, the cosmic manifestation. So how does he bring about all the ingredients, his glands, everything? What is there, what is not there when he is there? Please take us from here.
This is called Sarga.
Okay.
Sarga, that is the subject matter of the third canto of Bhagavatam. Though there are other subject matters also, but primarily this is what is the third canto all about, Sarga. Fourth canto talks about Visarga, that is the second creation. The fifth canto talks about Sthana, sixth canto about Poshana, seventh canto is Uti, eighth canto is Manvantara, ninth canto is Shanukata, 11th canto is Nirodha, 12th canto is Mukti, and 10th canto is Ashraya.
Okay.
So, 12 cantos, 10 subject matters. They are fitted like this. How? Starting from third canto.
Okay.
So, the purpose of having this sarga, that is creation of the elements, that is because the subject matter is this. And also the same subject matter is vividly explained, more vividly explained by Kapila to his mother, Devayuti, in the 26th chapter of the same canto. The third canto, 26th chapter, talks about it. So, now, talking about the sequence of how the whole world came into existence, in the beginning, that is the Mahavishnu, he glances over material nature. Saikshata means by seeing what happens, there is impregnation. So from the glance of Mahavishnu, two rays come, the Jiva Shakti and the Kala Shakti. These two, what happens is when the glance happens of Maya, on Maya, then there is Shambhu, who actually gets in direct contact with Maya. Yes, Shambhu Tamita Samapeti Karyat. So this work is done by the Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is also known as Karana Udakashai Vishnu. So in this world, there is impregnation which happens by which the children are born. But Lord impregnates material nature by drishti, by the eyes. Okay. And even by drishti also, there is no direct contact with Maya. That direct contact with Maya is done by actually Shambhu, Yesh Shambhu Tamta Savapeti Karyat, Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhaja. So now there is an aspect to it called time. There is called Kala, the Jiva Shakti and Kala Shakti. What is the meaning of the word Kala here? Kalaha Kalayatamaham, that is by Kala, Krishna destroys everything. At the same time, Kala is also takes important role in creation. So one from the Prakriti, which is known as Pradhana, Prakriti and Pradhana both are same. Why Prakriti is called Prakriti? Why it is called Pradhana? The reason is that it is called Pradhana because it is the first substance which actually the first substance, that is the pradhana, from where everything comes from. So Krishna glances over pradhana, then from pradhana comes a mahat tattva. Mahat tattva is the thing which comes into existence. This is known as Hiranya Garbha also.
Okay.
And all the universes are there in Mahat Tattva. The distinction between Pradhana and Mahat Tattva is, in Pradhana, the three modes of mental nature are sleeping. They are inactive. But Kala Choditat, by the influence of time, Bhagavad Drishti Gocharaha, because when the Lord saw the Prakriti, then the material, then the time, then what happened? It went inside and woke up the three modes of nature.
Okay.
And when three modes of nature are very active and predominant, that is called Mahat Tattva. Then Mahat Tattva transforms itself into Ahankara. And this Ahankara projects through the modes of nature. When it projects through Sattva Guna, then what happens in Sattva Guna? The mind and the presiding deities, they manifest. When the Ahankara is projected through Rajaguna, intelligence and the senses, the active senses, knowledge gaining senses, working senses, they manifest. When the intelligence is projected through Tamaguna, intelligence here means Tamasa Buddhi, which is another name of Ahankara, it is projected through Tamaguna, then the Panchamahabhutas and the Tanmatras, they manifest. So in this way, you have Rajasa, Rajasa and Tamasa. The three categories. The sense devatas and the mind appears through what? Through Sattva-guna.
Okay.
And Rajaguna, all active senses. Intelligence active and senses are active, both knowledge gaining senses and the working senses, they also manifest from Rajas. And ultimately Tamas, all the five gross elements and also the Tanmatras, that is the subtle forms of the gross elements. Like for earth, it is smell, for water, it is taste. They also manifest. In this way, all the other aspects of the universe, they are manifested in this world. And all these things happens step by step because the influence of time, mixture of time. Without time, actually nothing can be produced. The time is the representation of Krishna in this world. Yeah, this is what we can say, how the elements are created.
Okay. So once the elements are created, the mixing of the elements, that comes next, Maharaj?
Yes. So this is elemental creation. Now, after the elemental creation, the elements are there. Fire is there, it's not burning. And all the elements are there. The water is there, it's not flowing. So now, they are all in their original states, all the elements. But if they want to manifest in their gross forms, then they have to be mixed. Like, for example, I just drink water. You may say it's water. But it's not water. It is earth, water, fire, air, ether is there. Water element is more in that. That's all. So until unless it is mixed, you cannot actually use them. You cannot. There's no manifestation of these elements. They cannot. Like for example, if I say, I breathe oxygen. I want oxygen. So if somebody brings you just oxygen and gives you in your nose, you'll burn, you'll die. It's only just a few, some percentage only oxygen. But it's pure oxygen given, it will fire, comes, it burns. There's a lot of inert gas in it. And only some percentage oxygen. But it is called oxygen because that is the most important thing in that particular cylinder. We see oxygen cylinder, but it is not oxygen. 70% or so it is just an inert gas. Other 30% is oxygen. Just pure oxygen, it's gone. You're gone. So, in the same way, pure water, pure, say pure, in the world, you say pure water, that's actually impure. It has got earth, fire, air, ether in it also. Qua water and other particles, they are mixed so that it has some practical utility for people. Like a patient is in the ICU and he's not able to breathe, he requires oxygen externally. So oxygen is not given, co-oxygen is not given, it is mixed with nitric acid and it is given for practical purposes. The same way the mixture happens, and that also happens by time.
Okay.
So this time acts at every level, and without that nothing happens in this world. So Kala is actually energy of Krishna. So that is how he maintains this world and destroys this world. So through Kala, there is creation, there is maintenance, and then destruction. All three happens. Because the Lord personally will not do. When he says God is the creator, he is the destroyer. But he does all these things through the form and two agencies. One is through Maya, that is Durga, and the other is Kala. Two agencies. That is why Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha. Srishti Sthiti Pralaya, all three things are done by Durga. At the same time, for her to execute these things, you require the potency of Krishna, which is known as Kala. That also helps in all three phases of time. So, whole chapter is actually based on how Krishna is present in this world, in every activity of your life, in every action you see, every object you see. You can find Krishna because there is a time aspect everywhere.
Wow, wonderful, Maharaj. Thank you for the detailed and easy to understand explanation. So, Maharaj, the last section of this chapter, starting from the 38th verse pretty much till the end, that is 51st verse, there are this beautiful set of prayers from the presiding deities who you talked about just now. So, 38th verse, Ete deva kala vishnoho kala mayam shalinginaha nanatvat swakriyanishaha prochuh pranjalayo vibhum. The controlling deities of all the above mentioned physical elements are empowered expansions of Lord Vishnu. They are embodied by eternal time under the eternal energy, and they are his parts and parcels. Because they were entrusted with different functions of universal duties and were unable to perform them, they offered fascinating prayers to the Lord as follows. So Maharaj, now we'll go a little bit into this Vichara Mantana section also about these prayers. Now, of the most beautiful transcendental form of Krishna, specifically in these prayers, we see that these controlling deities are meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. So, what is the power and the glory of the lotus feet of the Lord?
So the prayers are done by the devotees, and you go to those prayers, then you'll understand the glories of the lotus feet of the Lord. Now, here, the Deva Uchuhu, in the very first words, they say, we offer our respectful obeisances to the lotus feet of the Lord. And how are they? They compare the lotus feet of Krishna to an umbrella.
Right.
And this umbrella protects you from rain. And what is raining in this world? It is suffering. Somebody told me, and Oji, it's raining heavily. I told, what is raining? Probably it's raining. I told, here also, and the whole world, everywhere there's rain going on. Heavy rainfall everywhere. No, it's only here. Other places it's not there. I told, there's heavy rainfall of miseries going on
Wow.
everywhere. So it's raining. So the only rain which happens perpetually in this world is heavy rainfall of miseries. And now, when it rains, you take an umbrella. But since it's perpetual rain in this world, rain of miseries, you have to take the umbrella of Krishna's lotus feet.
Wow.
So you had to take shelter of the souls of the lotus feet of Krishna. And what happens You throw away all the uru, so much of great difficulties. Samsara dukkam bahirukshipante. Bahirukshipante. Just with the souls of Krishna, all the samsara dukkha are bahirukshipante. Shipanti, bahir. He throws it away. In this way, in every verse there is a description of the glory of the lotus feet of Krishna. So that is many verses are there to talk about. That is why one should meditate on the lotus feet of Krishna. And there are so many ankusha. By meditating on the chinha or the lotus feet of Krishna, there are certain signs. So when you meditate on the ankusha, then your mind will be under control. Like that, each and everything has got its significance. Yeah.
Okay. So this 41st verse here, there is so much of poetic beauty here, the way they are comparing. Marganti yatte mukha padmanidaish chandas suparnairashayo vivikte yasyagamarsho dasaridvarayaha padam tirtha padav prapannaha. The lotus feet of the Lord are by themselves the shelter of all places of pilgrimage. The great clear-minded sages, carried by the wings of the Vedas, always search after the nest of your lotus-like face. Some of them surrender to your lotus feet at every step by taking shelter of the best of rivers, the Ganges, which can deliver one from all sinful reactions. So beautiful the way they are. The great clear-minded sages, carried by the wings of the Vedas, always search after the nest of your lotus-like face. So if you can say a little bit about this, Maharaj, how nicely they are praying.
So it's all a very poetic description of the glory of lotus feet of Krishna. So they say, we have taken shelter of your lotus feet. And what is the nature of the lotus feet? That is the place of all pilgrimage. That means we don't have to go anywhere else. Pilgrimage, you have to go so many places. One who takes shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, and all the pilgrimage places are there. No, you have to go to Ganga. Array, Ganga is coming from there only, isn't it? Why go to Ganga? The source of Ganga is lotus feet of Krishna. And no, you have to go to that place, this place. So if you go in there, all the sins will be delivered. No. So Ganga is falling from the lotus feet of Krishna. And then it is purifying everybody's sin. And when we are at the lotus feet of Krishna, the sin is automatically gone. You don't have to go anywhere else. Now, they give a metaphor. Bird of the Veda, situated in the nest of your lotus mouth. So what does a bird do? It flies from the nest out. So now the Vedas are actually coming from your lotus mouth. And we think that we take shelter of that Veda, we are Veda Pandita. But actually, these Vedas are nothing but the sounds coming from your lotus mouth. Thus they attain the base of the tree, which is the home of the birds. Similarly, sages worship you and attain you after understanding the conclusion of the Vedas. Ultimately, after the birds go everywhere, and then where do they come? They come back to the nest. The same way, all the sages, they chant the Veda, do all the things. Ultimately, they have to come to the base, that is your lotus mouth. In this way, we surrender to your lotus feet, which are the places of emanation, Padam, best of the rivers. So they have their realization because they are all seeing the rishis worshipping Krishna by chanting the Vedic literatures. They also, the devatas are saying that you are the object of and subject of the Vedas.
Very nice. What does it mean to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord?
Service.
Okay.
Seva. You serve Krishna, that means you're taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. Serving him, depending on him. and it's called taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna.
Now, that's a great segue to my next question. So Prabhupada also said there is only one thing he asked his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that is, how can I serve you? And then here also, the last shloka of this chapter, where the Devatas are praying, I'll just quote that verse. So this is the 51st verse. Tato vayam mat pramukaya darte babhuvimatman karavama kimte tvam nasvachakshuh paridehi shaktya deva kriyarte yad anugrahanam. O Supreme Self, please give us, who are created in the beginning from the Mahatattva, the total cosmic energy, your kind directions on how we shall act. Kindly award us your perfect knowledge and potency so that we can render you service in the different departments of subsequent creation. So they're expressing their eagerness to serve Krishna and cooperate with Krishna. So what can we learn from this? To serve the Lord and spiritual master and to cooperate with them.
So that is what we learn, your last question, the previous question. So what is the meaning of taking shelter of the lotus feet? That means to serve. So surrender doesn't mean a passive activity, I'm surrendered. No. Surrendered means that you are actively working for Krishna, but with a mood of dependence on Krishna.
Okay.
Srila Prabhupada went to America to serve Krishna. But at the same time, he was dependent on Krishna. He had only 40 rupees, he was not dependent on anything else.
Right.
He knew Krishna will take care of me in all circumstances. If I serve him, he'll take care of me. In the same way, these devatas also, they are talking about the same thing. That is, the order, you have to give us order what to do. The whole purpose of our creation is to serve you. So, but we cannot serve you without your mercy. That is why give us that mercy. What is that mercy? Two things, knowledge and power. Two things are required to do any activity. That is why they say, Tvam naha swachakshu paridehi shaktya. You give the knowledge and also shakti for carrying out whatever you're given to us.
So Maharaj, the next section, the third section is Anushilanam, practical application. So I was just contemplating whether it's Maharaj Parikshit or Vidura in this chapter, they're asking about the tattva, the foundational philosophical concepts about creation and so many other things. So in the life of a sadhaka, how important it is, although it is a little taxing for the brain, I mean taxing because we are like that, we are at that level. So how important it is for us to consciously strive to understand these foundational philosophical concepts nicely.
Now somebody gives you a smartphone. What is the first question you ask?
How to use it?
No.
No? Okay.
You say which brand it is. Is it iPhone?
Okay.
Isn't it? So, because depending on the company, brand, you think, you understand the greatness of that phone, isn't it?
Okay, yeah.
Now, when you see objects of this world, then what is the first question you should ask? Where it comes from? It comes from Krishna. So now, when you know it's coming from Krishna, that means these objects are wonderfully designed. Because Krishna is wonderful and his design is wonderful. And when you get that iPhone, you say to other person, see this iPhone, because it is made by Apple company, and you are not advertising Apple company, it has some special features. And that phone doesn't have these features. So in the same way, since it is this laddu is coming from Krishna, there's got some special features. Of course, everything comes from Krishna. That is true. But when you know that Krishna is behind it, you will find Tuvapade Jagata Vichitra. Then you find that these objects of this world, they are wonderful to be used in Krishna's service because they are given by Krishna. They are not just ordinary. The matter is not ordinary. It is something extraordinary because it is created by Krishna. So when you know the extraordinary nature of matter, you cannot understand how extraordinary is Krishna. So you can think of Krishna by looking anything in this world. That is why Mamam Pashyati Sarvatra. Sarvam Jame Pashyati, Rasyana Pranashyan, Prashati. It's very easy to be Krishna conscious when you are standing in front of the deity. How long you'll be there? You have to go to your office. There you see the buildings, you see the cars. What are they? You may say, all Maya. No, who's Maya? Krishna's Maya. So use it in Krishna's service. That's how you look at it.
Okay. So Maharaj, according to you, what are some core philosophical concepts that every devotee should know very soundly?
Everything in this world is Krishna's energy.
Okay.
Number one. Since it is Krishna's energy, your house, your car, your wealth, your wife, your children, they're all Krishna's energy. So what you're supposed to do, use it in Krishna's service. Simple. That is called Yukta Vairagya. So if you want to summarize the entire practical application of this chapter, where so many philosophical points are spoken, it is just two words, Yukta Vairagya.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. The last segment, Maharaj, is Brahmastra. So just a footnote disclaimer here for those of you who are watching. Brahmastra is supposed to be a light-hearted, fun segment. So kindly don't take it so seriously. Looks like some people are taking they're taking it a little too seriously and drawing a lot of meaning out of it. This is just because usually about an hour we are discussing about something quite complex and serious. So this is just to end it on a lighter note. That's it. So if this is something that doesn't interest you, just like you can be the juiciest, sweetest mango, but there are still some people who don't like it, and that's totally fine. So if Brahmastra is a segment that doesn't really appeal to you, you can very much skip this and end it right here. But there are so many people who do relish Brahmastra. So for those devotees, we will have the segment. So Maharaj, today we saw in the last segment that how the Devatas are meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. So today in the Brahmastra segment, I'm going to talk about, just give you different, so many other parts of Krishna's transcendental, most beautiful, form. So whatever comes to your mind when I say that, you can just say it briefly in a word, in a sentence, whatever comes. So what about the lotus face of the Lord?
Panapatram Mukham. It is like a vessel filled with honey.
Nice.
You can go on licking it.
What about the lotus eyes of the Lord?
Very dangerous.
Dangerous. Okay. The lotus navel of the Lord, Padmanabha.
Yeah, he became very proud of producing a flower in Brahma. And the Gopi says, you become Padmanabha or what? Ahustate Nalinavadaravindam. The Gopis have a different understanding of this Padaravindam. Ahustate Nalinanabha. They see that you become so big or what? Like that they dress. Yeah.
They're definitely dangerous. You told us to memorize this shloka, and since the time I memorized it, it's just running again and again and again and again. There is this spiritual hangover happening. Yeah. The next one, Maharaj, in one of your classes, you said there are 23 and a half moons in Krishna? 23 and a half, 24 and a half?
24 and a half.
4 and a half. So what about those 10 moons, the toenails of Krishna, which are so radiant?
When you look at them, you become blind. Totally confused. That effulgence which is coming from, very difficult. Very difficult. To see the lotus feet of Krishna, because they are so radiant. As soon as somebody puts some torchlight, heavy torchlight on your eyes, then what happens? You become blind. You cannot see anything. So that's what is the nature of the toenails of Krishna.
Wow. Okay. What about his forehead, the half moon?
Oh, most confidential. That is not meant for anybody. It's only meant for Srimati Radharani.
Oh. Okay. What about the Trirekanka Kantha, the three-lined neck?
Krishna is experiencing rasa, Vatsalya rasa. because he bends his neck. That is where 3 lines are formed. Don't beat me, don't beat me, don't beat me, like this. So you meditate on them to see that how Krishna is not acting, actually he is experiencing the rasa. Vatsalya.
What about his slender waist?
Slender waist of Krishna. It contains the abdomen of Krishna, which is carrying the entire Brahmanda in it. And he shows it to Yashoda. So actually the slender waist of Krishna, the whole attention is on the navel of Krishna. Very beautiful. It's very deep, very, very deep. Navel of Krishna is very deep.
So from the slender, deep waist, we'll go to the strong, broad chest.
Hang on to it.
Hang on to it. All right. Okay. What about his lotus palm?
Yeah, he's extending. So just go and embrace them. He's inviting you. Go.
Yeah. What about his dark, thick, beautiful, curly hair? Like bumblebees covering the lotus face, his hair.
Yeah, these hairs are like bumblebees, and especially when he gets up in the morning, even though his hairs are scattered here and there, still they look beautiful. But if somebody's hairs are scattered in this world, their hair, they look like Putana or some some Rakshasa. But it's just there. Like.
Yeah, lovely. What about the Tamala Varna, his complexion?
Complexion is like a dark cloud with the lightning. It enchants everyone, whole complexion.
Finally, you said in a recent podcast of yours, your favorite chapters in the entire Bhagavatam is the Pancha Rasa Adhyaya, which is compared to the beautiful smile of the Lord. So what about the smile of the Lord?
Oh, very enchanting. That is why don't look at him. Once you look at the smile of Krishna, all your attachments are gone.
Wow, Jai. Amazing. That's it, Maharaj. Thank you so much. So Maharaj, in this chapter, Vidura Mahatma was glorifying Maitreya Rishi that you are so benevolent. All the devotees, sages are so benevolent. They're going from place to place and sharing Krishna Katha, which is Amrita. So are the gopis. They are saying Bhurida Jana. These are the most benevolent people who are going and giving Krishna Kathamrutam. So likewise, you are not only traveling and giving Krishna Kathamrutam, but also you're making time week after week. I know right now you have to go for your Bhagavatam class, but still you're making time early in the morning to do this podcast. So I can't express my gratitude enough. So we really, really appreciate Maharaj. Thank you so much. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, there we go. So in today's episode, we have talked about the beginning of the Vidura Maitreya Samvada, where Maitreya Rishi has started describing Sarga. But this doesn't end here. In the next chapter, it's going to get deeper and more complicated, but not to fret. We have Maharaj with us who is going to simplify it in a way that you and I can understand it seamlessly. So please come back in the next episode. That is the 40th episode. We are going to continue with chapter 6 of Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So until then, don't forget to stay inquisitive and stay Krishna conscious. We will catch you soon. Take care. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.